Hey, this is Ken Finnan from Capital Advantage Tutoring, and it's my job to get you past the SIE. I'm ripping through these chapters now, and now I'm up to a chapter, I don't even know what it is, chapter 12. So we're going through the book 1 through 20, I think it is. I've already gone through 11 of them. I'm on to number 12. So this is orders and trading strategies. That's what we're going to get to. Orders, order types, trading strategies. But first, if you like what I'm doing, please hit like, subscribe, and share. Go into my thing. If you like the books, go into the details. You can buy the STC book and you get a discount, 15% discount. Woo! Or you get or you can go to the cheaper route and get the achievable. It's like 60, 70 bucks. The link is in there. Go from there. And the good thing about the achievable is they give you a little bit of a free trial. Not a ton, but enough to get you so you know what it's like. Also, if you're looking for tutoring one-on-one, please reach out to me. It's me, and if you can't afford my rates, I have other tutors that can help you out. They're not as good, but no, I'm kidding. They're fine. They're just a little on the lower end of the pay spectrum. Okay, so sometimes they're going to ask you about the capacity of the broker dealer or the agent or whatever it is, and you're going to hear like broker, agent, dealer, principal, markup, market maker, all that stuff. So let's clear that shit up. So if you're acting in an agent capacity, you're acting as a broker and you charge a commission. That means you're like a middleman. You're not actually using your own money. When I say you, I mean the broker dealer. So let's clean it up. The broker dealer or agent is not acting in their own, they're not using their own money or inventory or positions or anything. They're actually just putting two people together. Joe wants to buy stock, Mary wants to sell it, they put it together, and then they charge a commission. Kind of like when a realtor buys a house, gets a house for you. They don't buy the house, they just find it for you, and then you buy it from the customer, and you pay them a commission. So that's where we are. So an agent is just a middleman, a middlewoman, whatever you want to call it, in between the two people. So remember, ABC, agent, act as a broker, charges a commission. ABC, agent, broker, commission. I like it. Okay. The other side of this is being a dealer. A dealer or a principal, you charge markups and markdown. This is a little different. This is where you use your own inventory to sell it. So maybe for a market maker, you make a quote. I'm willing to buy at 20 and sell at 20.25. That's you're making a quote. And you're going to use your own inventory. Again, when I say you, I mean the broker dealer. So the broker dealer is going to use their own inventory. So Johnny Jones wants to buy 100 shares of Apple. Schwab already has the shares. They just sell it to him at a price and they charge a markup. Mary wants to sell stock, okay? Mary wants to sell stock. And what she's going to do is she's going to sell it to me. I am going to buy it. I'm the broker dealer. Schwab is going to buy it from Mary. So if Mary wants it, oh my God, what the fuck? Okay, so dealers and principals, it's where the broker dealer is using their own inventory or money to do this. Okay, well, what the fuck just happened? Okay. So the other one is a dealer or a principal. A dealer or a principal is when the broker dealer uses their own inventory, okay? They use their own inventory, money, whatever you want to call it. So if you're a market maker, you're acting as a dealer or a principal. So if a broker dealer is acting as a market maker, they're acting as a dealer or a principal. What that means is if Bobby wants to buy stock and it's trading at $20, Schwab, acting as a principal, will sell it to them out of their own inventory at 20 bucks and charge like a 25-cent markup. So Bobby will pay $20.25. That'll be disclosed that he bought it at 20, and then we the broker dealer charge them a 25-cent markup, so he paid $20.25. So we're selling it out of our own inventory. If Mary wants to sell stock at 20, I, as the broker dealer acting as a principal, will buy it from her at 20, but I'll charge a little markdown. She'll only get $19.75 because it's being bought at 20 minus a markdown. So if a customer is buying, they get charged a markup because we're marking it up. If a seller is selling, then we're going to charge a markdown because we're going to buy it from them and we take a little commission. So instead of paying them 20, we pay them $19.75 and that 25 cents is our markdown. That shit has to be disclosed. Remember, ABC, agent, broker, commission, boom, principal, dealer markup, PDM, principal, dealer markup. Okay, so FINRA has a guideline called the 5% markup, markdown guideline, but it really is for markup, markdowns, commission. It's for basically listed and unlisted securities. So other than exempt securities. So FINRA has a guideline. It's not a rule. you can't charge more than 5%. Now, you technically can, but you better have a damn good reason. So if you're going to charge a 5% markup or markdown, you better have a good reason. So in reality, if your customer buys $10,000 worth of stock, then you can only charge them as a broker-dealer agent $500 at max. Most places don't charge that much. It's just that's the max. Now, if you want to charge more than that, since it's a guideline, you can, if you have a reason, like say it was hard to find, or it took them 2 weeks, or you're offering other services. So like if it's a type of security, basically how liquid it is. If it took me 2 weeks to find the shares, I can charge you more. If the price is high or low, it may affect whether I can charge more or not. Like if I buy a 20-cent stock for you and I charge you 5%, that's going to be like a lot. Okay. I mean, we're talking what 1.5 cents. So maybe what I'll do, I don't know if I do the math on that. What I'm going to do is probably charge you maybe 10%. I can do that as long as it's consistent and I'm not ripping anyone off. So again, the commission markup markdown guideline of 5% is you take the total value and you multiply it times 5%, and that should be about what it is. If you're doing normal commissions, you don't have to disclose it ahead of time, but it does have to be disclosed on the commission. But if you do an extraordinary, like a larger commission, that doesn't mean it's illegal. It just means it's larger. You have to disclose it, but you better have a damn good reason for doing it. Now, everyone has a problem with this one. So a proceeds transaction. A proceeds transaction is not a cross. It's like Bobby calls up the broker-dealer. Bobby's getting a little bit busy lately. Bobby calls up the broker-dealer and says, I want to sell $5,000 worth of IBM and buy $5,000 worth of Tesla. So what's going to happen is as you're selling the shares of IBM, you're going to use that to buy the shares of Tesla. That's a proceeds transaction. You're using the proceeds of the sale to pay for the stock. And remember, this is not front-running. This is not free riding because the shares have already been paid for it, presumably. Okay. Now, the 5% guideline applies as such. I'm selling $5,000, I'm buying $5,000. So technically it's a $5,000 number. So my markup markdown is going to be based to determine if I charge too much. They're going to divide what I got, what I charged, $1,000, whatever it is, divided by the $5,000. So if I sell $5,000 of stock to buy 5,000, they're going to use $5,000 as my number. And I'm going to compare my markup markdown to that 5,000. If that's more than 5%, I might be in trouble. Okay, so a proceeds transaction, a customer sells shares, uses that money to buy new ones. The markup markdown is based on basically the combined trade of $5,000. That's how you decide if it's too much or not. Good. Okay. Couple things. The 5% guideline does not apply to anything with a prospectus or exempt securities. So if you have a prospectus, which means it's a mutual fund, which has an 8.5% sales charge, or a prospectus, or a new issue, or a limited partnership, they have anything that's being issued with a prospectus is exempt. Discretion is when the customer gives you power of attorney over their account. So what happens is they're letting you do trades. Now, if I call you up and say, listen, buy 1,000 shares at the market, just do a good job, I'm not giving you discretion. I'm saying buy it and I'm letting you work the price and try to get a better price. That's not discretion. That's just time and price you're choosing. If you as the rep are choosing anything more than time and price, so time and price, you can choose time and price only. I've only said that 30 times now. That's fine. You don't need discretion. Anything more than that. So if you're going to choose the buy or the sell, the amount, or the security, you need power of attorney / discretion. If you have discretion, you can choose any one of those things. So if I call you up as the agent and say, listen, buy 1,000 shares of a tech stock, I don't know which one. You need discretion because I didn't give you the three. I have to give you the buy and a sell or a sell. I have to give you the amount, the number of shares, and I have to give you the security. Those three have to be provided or you need discretion. If you have discretion, then you don't need it. There's full and limited. Full discretion, you can do any suitable trade, plus pay bills and move money around, stuff like that. Limited discretion, there's limiting. So it can go all the way down to just trade, where a limited discretion means you can only do suitable trades for your customer. Now, let me bring that up for a second. Can you do an unsuitable trade for a customer? The answer normally is no. But if the customer calls you up and insists on it, then you have to do it. So if a customer calls you up and says, hey, I want to buy 1,000 shares of International Buggy Whips, and you go, what, moron? You have to do it. You can try to convince them not to, but you have to do it. Okay, back to this. Every order in a discretionary account is held to a heightened supervision. That means the principal is going to approve each transaction after the fact, not before. At the end of the day, promptly, at the end of the day, the principal goes through all the discretion, compares it to their suitability statement versus what they did, and they compare. And if it's off, they'll bring the rep in and ask a problem, ask what's going on. If there's something wrong and they think it's bad, they'll take it out of the customer's account and put it in the error account with the registered rep's name on it. Now, every order in a discretionary account has to be marked either discretion exercised or discretion not exercised. So if I call you up and say, if I have a discretionary account and I call up and say, hey, Bobby, I think you should buy 1,000 shares of IBM here. And you go, yeah, sure, that works. I'm not using discretion because I'm soliciting an order from you. So I would mark it discretion not exercised. Conversely, if Bobby called me up and said, buy 1,000 shares of IBM, just work it, even if it's in a discretion account, I would mark it discretion not exercised, or even put unsolicited so that they know that I didn't use my discretion. If I, as the rep, chose anything more than the time of the trade and the price, I need power of attorney, which means you mark it discretion exercised, and it's going to be reviewed by a principal. Also, if you mark an order unsolicited, the registered representative has a principal. Every principal, supervisor, stuff like that, can actually ask the customer to sign a statement saying it was was unsolicited. Okay. Now, types of transactions. So we have a purchase, which is buy. That's easy. I'm buying the shares. We have a long sale, which means I'm selling shares I own. Then we have a short sale, which I talked about. So I'll put up here. Did I do it right? I don't know if I did. I'll put up here, what is a short sale? Boom. What the heck is selling short? Put it right there. There. Okay. Now, a buy is just a buy. Call up, buy shares, you're increasing your position. A long sale is selling something you own. There's no restrictions or anything on it. If you own it, you can sell it. If you receive a sale and a customer says, hey, I want to sell stock, you have to say, are you long or short? Because if it's short, you need to get a borrow, which again, I talked about. So if you are short, if you're selling short, you're borrowing shares, selling them, and then hopefully buying them back lower. But really, you have to get a borrow or a locate, because you can't just sell short and go, hey, I'm good. You actually have to say, I'm selling short, and these are the people I borrowed. This is the broker, the account or the broker dealer I borrowed it from. If you can't do that, then the broker dealer will have to borrow it for you. And if they can't get a borrow, they can't do the trade. Okay, covered and uncovered options writers. So if you sell an option, it's either covered or uncovered, because both covered and uncovered both mean selling an option. If it's covered, you have a stock position alongside of it. If it's uncovered, it's naked, right? If you're naked, you're uncovered, right? Okay, so that works. So uncovered is risky. Covered is usually not as risky. Okay. Types of orders. The most common one, market order. That's just buy 1,000 shares at the market, whatever the best price is, just buy it. Its execution is guaranteed pretty much. There's instances where it wouldn't be if there's not enough shares trading, but market orders are just buy the thing. I don't care about price. It's like when you go to the store with mom or dad's credit card, you're not really worried about price so much. You just need what you have to get. So that's a market order, just buy or sell it, and I don't care about price. Just do it. Okay. Limit orders are when you go want to buy a stock and you say, oh, I want to buy stock at 50 or buy it at 40 or 30 or sell it. You're setting a price. So if I say buy 100 shares at 50, I am saying I'm willing to buy it at $50 or better. So whenever you see a limit, think it's or better. So if it's a buy, you want to buy at 50 or better, which means lower. So if I'm willing to buy stock at 50 and the stock is trading at 51, I'm not buying anything. But if it's trading at 49 or 48 or 50, I will buy it. The thing about limit orders is execution is not guaranteed because there's no guarantee the thing will trade at your price. I don't know. Maybe I have a stroke. I can't speak. So market order, that would be a great video to have on here, watching me stroke out. Okay. So now, with the weight I'm at, I wouldn't doubt it. So a market order, execution is guaranteed because you don't care about price. A limit order, you do care about price, so you will only buy it at your price or better. Like if you go, look, I have a budget of $50 for boots, and you walk in there and the boots are $60, you're not buying them. But if they're 50 or 49 or 48, you're buying them within your budget. So a limit order is if you say buy 100 shares at 50, I'm willing to buy it at 50 or below. If you say, oh, I want to sell 100 shares at 60, I'm willing to sell it at 60 or higher. So let's think about this. Buy limits are placed below the market. Sell limits are placed above. We'll come back to that. Now, let's keep rolling. Okay. Now, there's a thing called the stop loss order. Okay. So a stop loss order is kind of a contingent order. It only executes or triggers when something is going wrong or when it hits a certain price. So if you're a long stock, say you own 100 shares at 50, or say you own 1,000 shares at 50, and you're afraid it's going to go down, buy a put. That's what we would normally do. But in this case, you place a sell stop. So I would say, listen, I own the stock at 50. I'm afraid it's going to go down below 45, and then it'll keep going. So I'll place an order to sell 100 shares at 45 stop. So I'll sell 100 shares at 45 stop. Stock's trading at 50. I say place an order. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. I have a weird mouse today, but so let's say you're long, which means you own 100 shares. Of course, I can't spell, and I'm doing this weird. Okay, at $50. So you're long 100 shares at 50. Hung that baby up. Now you're afraid it's going to go down. So what you're going to do is you're going to place an order down here. You say, while I'm gone, I want to sell 100, whatever the stock is, at 45 stop. Okay. That says as long as a stock is trading above 45, no one even knows the order's there. It's hidden. But once the stock trades at 45, it's going to trigger and then sell on the next trade no matter what. So in this situation, if you see the stock trading at 46 and then 45.50 and then 45 and a quarter, no one knows the order is there. But once it trades at 45 or below, that's the trigger. Remember, it has to be a trigger then a trade. So you have to see it trade at a price at 45 or lower, and then the next trade no matter what. I don't care if it's $1 or 50. Get that in your head. A sell 100 shares at 45 stop. Once a stock trades at 45, it will sell the next price, no matter what the price is, whether it's a penny, $10, or $100. It will not change. It will absolutely execute. Okay. Now, the other thing to this is what they could say is they can make it a sell stop limit, which just makes great sense. Okay. So if we make a sell 100 shares at 45 stop limit, it's really the same thing, except for I'm not willing to sell it at any price. So really, stop and stop limits, they have a trigger, and then what happens after is the difference. So they both have a trigger, same thing. So I'm long 100 shares at 50, stock trades at 45, it triggers, and now it's a limit. I will not sell it below 45. So if the stock trades at 45, and then it trades at 43, and then 42, 40, 39, I don't sell anything because I put a limit on it. Now, if it trades at 45, and then it trades at 44, and then up at 45 again, then I will sell it because it's at my limit. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So if you do a sell stop, it becomes a market order once it's triggered. If you do a sell stop limit, it becomes a limit order once it's triggered. Now, the other side of this, let's erase this baby. It's a weird using my couch as a mouse thing, but whatever. Okay, so now let's say you're short, which means you want it to go down. Short 100, I'll do a little better this time. IBM at 50. You're short it, you want the stock to go down. You really do, you want it to go down. So, but you're afraid it's going to go up. What would I do? I would buy a call. I would just have no risk. But I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, listen, I shorted at 50. I'm hoping it goes zero. I could be wrong. Happens once in a while. So I'm going to place a buy 100 IBM at 55 stop. So I'm placing that above the market. So as long as a stock is below 55, no one knows the order's there except for you, the rep, and the system. That's it. Same on all the stops. Stops are hidden until it's triggered. So if I sell short 100 shares at 50, and then I place a buy 100 at 55 stop, as long as the stock's at 54.99 or lower, no one knows it's there. Once a stock trades at 55, it triggers, and I will buy it at the next price, whether it's at $1 million, at 60, or at $1. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be higher or lower. It just has to get up to that price to trigger. And that what that's supposed to do is stop your losing. So if you short stock at 50 and it goes up $5, you're losing money, and it just get out of the position and just buy it and cover it. Okay. So if they do the same thing, but let's add in a stop limit. Hope I'm not totally blowing this. Okay. So we put a buy 100 shares at 55 stop limit. That means if it triggers at 55, once it triggers at 55, then the next price it will buy it as long as it's 55 or less. Because when a stop limit gets triggered, it becomes a limit order. When a regular stop order gets triggered, it becomes a market order. So a buy stop limit will trigger at the same price as a stop, but it will not pay over a certain price. Hope that helps a little bit. Okay. So now, one quick thing, a little memory jogger. Remember this, slobs over, I put a little line there, just make it clean, as clean as I can. Green, oh, that's crazy, okay. And I put BLSS. So that tells you where, according to the market, you place the order. Slobs over bliss. So you place sell limits and buy stops over. You place buy limits and sell stops over the market price. Oh my God, okay. So slobs over bliss. So this is what I got here. So slobs over bliss. This is how I do it. So you place sell limits and buy stops above the market. Think of the line as the market or the last sale. And you place buy limits and sell stops below the market. So sell limits and buy stops are above. Buy limits and sell stops are placed below the last sale or the market. And remember, stops protect, limits don't. Stops protect, limits don't. Wunderbar. Now let's talk about different types of orders. There's qualifiers. Normally an order, if you receive an order, it's considered a day order, which means it'll be executed hopefully between 9:30 and 4. Once 4 o'clock comes happen, if it's not executed, boom, it cancels. So a day order is the default order, which means if I call you up and say buy 1,000 shares of IBM at 40, it is going to expire at 4 p.m. if it's not exercised, if it's not executed, okay? Good till cancel orders or slang is an open order. It's good till I cancel it. It's basically, it's good until I actually cancel it. So there's days, like I think it's May and November, where they check it. They check it to make sure it's real good. But what happens is I place a good till cancel order. I want it out there. It'll execute anytime between 9:30 and 4 until I actually cancel it. Okay? Good. Now, if a customer calls you up and says, I want a good till month, good till week, or something like that, that's not really a legal order to be placed into the system. But what happens is you will place it. You will place the order as a good for a month, and then you as the broker dealer will have to remember to cancel it. So if I call you up and say, hey Johnny, whatever it is, can you place an order? I want to buy 1,000 shares at 42, good for 30 days. That's fine. You can place it as a GTC order, and then you have to remember as the broker dealer or the agent to cancel it after 30 days because the system cannot handle that. Okay, and that's the end of that chapter. Not a very long one. We got this. We're more than halfway through the book. I only have 8 chapters left to nail. I'll have this up. It's a brand new year. Let's see if we can get a lot of these out there so we can help everyone pass. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, share. If you want some help one-on-one, please reach out to me. It's either me or I can have, if you can't afford my rates, you can go down and I can have some of the lower levels. Okay, you all have a good night and